Now, from the InQuality stand at NAB Show at the Las Vegas Convention Center, streaming live around the world, showcasing ipDTL, Hybrid, and SIP.audio. This is KSIP. And here's your host, Townsend Coleman.
Woohoo! Thank you, Randy Thomas. Oh, what a nice intro. Love it when I hear her voice. Yeah, folks, we're here at NAB 2019 live in Las Vegas, and we're just having a great show here. I am in the ipDTL booth with InQuality, and we've got all kinds of great people stopping by the booth, showing off all kinds of great products that we've got about how to connect from you to any place around the world with broadcast quality audio. And speaking of broadcast quality audio, I got a good buddy of mine just hanging on the line here from his abode in Ojai, California. Please welcome Mr. Beau Weaver. Beau Weaver.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. How are you, brother?
I'm doing good. I'm doing really well.
Oh, that's great.
I was going to say, am I caller 19?
Yeah. Sorry, you didn't win.
Long-time listener, first-time caller, man.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about going back to the gold standard.
There you go. Are you calling from east of the Rockies or west?
Because the Fed was created by UFO aliens.
All right. Thanks so much for the call. Next.
Okay. All right.
There we go. Yeah. So, Beau Weaver, you're in Ojai. You've got your studio behind you there, your booth, and you just do a ton of voiceover work from your house. And I know that you and I connected not too long ago, and I turned you on to ipDTL, and I know that you've been using it and loving it, and become a bit of a fan of it yourself.
Well, I will tell you a little bit about how I'm using it and something that I'm getting ready to do that you will like. But first, if you don't mind, I've got to record a quick news topical promo for a television station in Cleveland.
Oh,
that they
goodness.
need about 5 minutes ago.
Okay.
So this won't take very long. So I'm going to do it live on mic here.
Yeah,
if that's okay.
Yeah, and while you do it, since I'm from Cleveland, would you just please say hi to him for me? There you go.
I will. I know that about you.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Ernie Anderson's old station. I have his old gig.
It's got to be Channel 8 then.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fox 8.
Yeah.
Any rate, let me do this.
Okay.
Tonight at 10, plastic bag ban, the impact the new proposal would have on local businesses. And a kid movie night goes horribly wrong. The mistake one theater made that had outraged parents rushing their children away from the screen. Tonight on Fox 8 News at 10. So,
there you go. Beau Weaver, everybody.
Thank you very much, everyone. And now I got to edit that real quick, if you can see. Tonight at 10. See. Plastic bag ban. I'll pull that little breath out.
So while Beau is editing that for the station in Cleveland, Beau and I were talking not too long ago about various options that we have now to connect with studios around the country, around the world, and I was telling him about how I'm using ipDTL, and of course we're all looking for ISDN replacements. There are still those few who are hanging on to it, with icy grips, just refusing to let it go. But it's dying a quicker death than I think that they would like. And so here we are looking for replacements for ISDN. And for me personally, about 3 years ago, was doing a session, my regular session with some folks in Studio City. And Don Mackey, the audio guy there, said, what do you know about ipDTL? And at the time, I really didn't know much about it. Really, all I knew was that it utilized the Chrome browser, which I thought was curious. And so I checked it out that day, and the thing that really caught my eye was it said connect with ISDN. And I thought, wait a minute, if this does what I think it's kind of suggesting it might do, this would be a total game changer for me. And so I went on their website and signed up for a month, and I thought, if it works, it'd be fantastic. And if it doesn't, I just don't continue with it. Well, not only did it do what I was hoping it would do, but it did it better than I thought it would, and provided so much functionality within the interface of ipDTL in the Chrome browser that I hung on to my ISDN service for about maybe another 4 or 5 months. Before I finally called AT&T and said, you know what, this $625 a month that I'm paying for this, I don't want to anymore. We're breaking up.
Yeah.
And I said goodbye. And then that was that. And so I let my ISDN go.
I have a similar story.
Okay.
And, you know, I have had a really long and storied history with digital connections through the copper wire telephony system through the phone company.
Yeah.
I was one of the very early adopters. Some friends of mine and I in Colorado kind of pioneered the practice of television stations in major markets using an out-of-market voice. And when we pioneered this back in the 80s, the killer technology that made it possible was not ISDN. It was Federal Express. And we built a business around, being the out-of-market voice with scripts dictated to us over the phone, because this was even before fax machines. And this was our big innovation. And we would, FedEx the scripts. They'd get them the next day. And this was an astonishing turnaround for them. But in about 1989, I had been back in L.A. For a number of years, and one of my partners in the little Denver thing, a little company we called Three Fine Pipes, which is kind of cute.
That's so clever.
Yeah. He had come up with something that was working for a couple of his stations. He found out that CBS Sports was using a technology from the phone company, allowing digital audio to go over a phone line. It was called Switch 56.
Right, sure.
And so I got a Switch 56 line and was feeding a couple of my stations doing that. And a few years later, they developed a way to gang two 56 kilobits lines together to make what was the precursor of ISDN. It was that two-channel Switch 56, which comes out to 128.
Right.
You know. So I did that for a few years, and then I believe I was the first talent in LA to have an actual ISDN line at home. So I have been doing this with the phone company since '89.
Yeah.
You know.
And your middle name is Pioneer.
Well, you and I are both like this, Townsend. We have, kind of a technical facility, and so really, I'm kind of like the unpaid beta tester for the industry, and I have been
Yes.
for a long time.
I get that.
So
yeah.
there's like giant boxes of old dead equipment out in the garage.
Sure, that's the museum you're starting.
So anyway, I've done ISDN for a really, really long time, and I have been really close to cutting the cord for quite a while, because my ISDN bill has been, like yours, lately $650.
Yep.
And I haven't used it in a couple of years.
Yeah.
But I've kept it just out of. Because why? Because I like writing a $650 check.
Of course.
It's nostalgic for me. It connects me to my past, and it's really stupid. But I have made the decision, and I have the letter in my desk on the other side of the room to cancel it. Because I do have ipDTL with the dedicated ISDN line, and I have used it a couple of times while traveling. Mm-hmm. In fact, doing the pre-records for the Emmys, I happened to be away visiting a daughter in North Carolina.
Right.
And so I did an ipDTL to ISDN connection. And, as far as the other guys go on the other end, they don't know. And I don't tell them. I do not tell them I'm traveling and I'm recording in a closet in a beach house in the Outer Banks of North Carolina. I don't tell them that.
Right.
They just say, well, Beau, we're dialing different ISDN numbers. Are these new numbers for you? I'm at a different studio today. Okay.
I love it.
Because if you tell them, they're going to worry, they're going to think they hear something wrong, and so just don't give them something to obsess about.
We do fight, folks in this business who are on the technical side, whether they're the audio guys at studios or networks on the other end, who are old union guys or whatever. It is really difficult sometimes to get people to change their ways. Recording studios in Santa Monica, who get very nervous about doing something a new way. However, my experience has been that once they give it a try, I said, just, look, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But if it does work, look what you've discovered. Look what we've got.
Right.
And I'm, and here I've been doing it long enough and, using it long enough with such great success that I have no problem whatsoever, trying to, continue to press with folks that this is the future. You might not like it. You might not want to change your ways, but this is the way it's all going, And so just give it a shot. So I'll send them my send a link URL, and they'll type it in. I'll click connect, and we're connected. And they'll say, they've got some headphones on, or say they're in their studio, and they hear us talking back and forth as though we're in the same room, and it's sometimes it's one of those aha moments for them when they go, oh, now I get it. I see.
Right.
So it's that simple. Yes, it's that simple.
I agree. It just takes getting them to try it, and sometimes the guy on the other end, who is the audio engineer, he's the guy who's really the stick in the mud.
Yeah.
Sometimes
the
there's a simple basic thing that he doesn't understand how to do, and that is how to get the audio out of the Chrome browser into his Pro Tools.
Right.
That's what he doesn't get.
Yes, you're right, and I get it because I have encountered it too many times. Folks who happen to be the gatekeepers on the other end, just simply saying, "No, we're not letting you through," or "No, we don't like that," or "That makes us uncomfortable," or "We don't understand it, so we're going in a different direction." It's pretty crazy to me. Sometimes trying to just convince somebody just to try it, just try it, but you never know.
And there are still now. I don't know if this is true right now, but a few years ago, the broadcast networks were not open to this because they kept their post-production networks completely, antiseptically apart from the internet.
Sealed completely. They were closed
Yeah.
systems. Right.
Yeah. But I just have a feeling that may not be the case anymore because almost everything is, verifies licenses for plugins via the internet, etc.
Let me tell you just a real quick little story. I won't name the network, but I was doing some work for a network a couple of years ago, and not long after I discovered I've been using ipDTL. A lot of people.
George Whittam calls it ipDTL.
ipDTL. There you go. So I've been using ipDTL for maybe a year at this point, and they were looking at ISDN alternatives. And they knew that I'd been using ipDTL, and they were looking at some other competing systems. And I said, well, let's just try it. And they said, we won't be able to. Because of our computer system, we are sealed off away from the internet. And at the specific sort of intranet that we're on here at work. And I said, well, you've got the Chrome browser on the computer that you record into, right? And they said, yeah, we got it. I said, well, let's just try it. And they said, it's not going to work because we already had our IT department down here, and we're looking at a different system that we've got to hook up through the internet, and we had to have a whole thing and firewall this and firewall that and yada, yada, yada. And I said, I totally understand that. I get it. But let's just try it. I'm just going to send you a link. It's a URL. You just put into the Chrome browser. Let's just see if we can connect. And they said, I guarantee you we're not going to be able to. This firewall, it just won't let you through. I said, all right, I'm willing to look like a failure, but I also would love to try it if you're up for it. And they said, all right, let's try it. So I sent them the link. They put it in the Chrome browser, put their name in, I saw them come up, and I clicked connect, and we were connected. And they said, wait a second, so are we talking to you now? Yeah, I'm talking to you right now. Do you hear me over your monitors? Yeah. Can you record me?
Press record.
Can you record me into Pro Tools? Yeah. And I said, well, there you go. And they said, what? And I said, that's it. It is as simple as that. And they said, oh, my God.
You don't have to buy $5,000 worth of hardware in a rack.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's just getting people to try it. You know, you just have to keep just batting away at this thing, hoping, you know, you'll just get a hit and get on base and you know, can keep running with this thing. But it was a real eye-opener for them and blew them away. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Hold on just a sec.
Sure.
I'm going to get somebody on the line with you that you may or may not know. But what we're going to do, Beau, here is I'm going to switch we're seeing you on camera, but I'm going to switch over to the mixer here. And and I'm going to have somebody pop up on the Comrex link here in our booth and wait for them to
The mixer's a lot prettier to look at than I am anyways.
Okay, so now what's happening is they're calling us from a Comrex box that's here in our booth as a demonstration. I'm going to answer that right now, and we're going to bring the Comrex box. Is this Tim?
Hello, can
All
you
right.
hear me?
Yeah, is this Tim Calloway?
Yes, this is Tim Calloway.
Tim
This is
Calloway.
Townsend Coleman.
It is Townsend Coleman right here, and we got Beau Weaver on the other line. So we've
And
now
I have
got
a gentleman here who says he knows you.
Well, this is what I see him through the window. I'm very excited to talk to him. So I just want to explain to those of you who might be watching on the YouTube stream that so what we have now is we've got Beau Weaver on the line from Ojai, California, in a video connection as well as audio. And now on our second connection, we've just taken a call from a Comrex box that we have here in the booth. And on this Comrex box with headphones and mic on now is who?
Gary Bavona.
Gary Bavona, for those of you who probably don't know, but unless you're in our voiceover industry, when I was at NBC, I was the comedy voice of NBC for 16 years, from 1993 through 2009. And Gary, aside from being a world-class trumpet player, whose kids now are all doing the same thing and have a band that is making millions of records. Gary was one of the audio guys in PPS2 down at NBC during the years, or several of the years that I was there. And I used to see Gary almost every day at work. And then Gary left NBC. In what year, Gary, was it?
Let's see. Well, I left in '95 for a couple of years and then went back freelance and started at CBS in 1998.
Okay, so you've been at and you're still at CBS,
No,
is that right?
that ended last summer.
Last
20
summer.
years.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, how does this stuff ever come to an end?
I don't know.
So you're not at CBS, but you were at CBS from 2000.
From 1998
Nine-
to last
98
July.
to 2018. But yeah, you're talking to Beau Weaver, who's at his house in Ojai, and there we go. I'm going to go back to the video. So now we see Beau again, and
Hi, Gary.
yeah, and that's crazy. So thanks for stopping by, man. If you're going to be around for a little bit, I'd love to chat with you after I get off the air here, as it
I'll
were.
let your show go.
It's pretty fluid here at the NAB booth. We're pretty loose. We sort of take it as it comes. So I'm going to chat with Beau for just a little bit, and I'll chat with you later.
Sounds good.
Okay, man. And so Gary Bavona right there, folks. So we hung up with Gary, and I hung up with Beau accidentally. However, we're going to reconnect with Beau
There
right
you
now.
are. There we
And
are. Now
there
we're
we
back
go.
connected
That's
together.
pretty simple. And folks, if you were watching that, you saw how quickly that happened. I hung up on Beau accidentally as I was hanging up the Comrex line with Gary. Beau went away, and all I had to do was just click on his name in the destination list there, and he was instantly back. As you can tell, probably, I love this technology. It is so facile. There is so much facility built within this ipDTL interface. It's just fascinating to me. Beau, I don't want to keep you all afternoon, but what's going on with you now? What are you working on most, and what's keeping you busy these days?
Well, I do a little of everything.
Yes, you do.
I have a few commercial clients that are regulars.
Okay.
I have a couple of documentary series on the cable networks that are ongoing, and we'll record episodes for them. There are a couple of network things that I do that are regular. But mostly it's television promos for major market affiliates.
Affiliates, okay, sure.
I have a whole bunch of them. And if you will forgive my language, it's like I'm their bitch.
Yeah, you get slapped around a little, I guess.
Which means I'm available to them for a very large chunk of the day, and it runs across all of the time zones.
Yeah.
So that keeps me busy.
Doing affiliate work like you're doing is a grind. There's no question. It can be really lucrative and can keep you really busy, but it does. Your schedule. You've got to work your schedule around them constantly, don't you?
Well, I'm available to them from 7 in the morning till 5 in the evening.
Yeah.
My daughters live all spread out all over the country.
Right.
And they've got families, and they're like second marriages, so scheduling visits is very difficult. Like, Jordan can't come because that's his weekend with his dad, that kind of stuff. So it gets the family dynamics get very complicated.
Right.
And so the way I have managed to do this is I have a small motorhome. And we'll drive across the country, and I will do my entire workday from that little motorhome.
Yep.
Now, what it means is I have to pull off the road, get away from freeway noise, go find a quiet space.
Right.
And I will record for them. But I've got really, the years in radio have given me really good ears. I know someone asked me one time what was the most important piece of equipment that I have, and I said my ears. I know what it's supposed to sound like, and I know how to get it to sound like that if it doesn't.
Right.
So I have a workflow for when I'm traveling that really does work, and I can deliver them identical quality, even driving across the country.
That's fascinating.
Now I will tell you this: it isn't any fun to be traveling and doing that much work.
Right, sure.
Where I'm doing during sweeps, I will have like 40 deliverables in a day.
Wow.
And while driving, dude, that's it's kind of cool that I can do that.
Right, but that you have
why
to
do
do
I
it?
even want to do that?
Right,
That's
exactly.
another question.
Exactly. Yeah, so your vacations almost end up not being vacations. You really sort of need to. But hey, you're a man who's always been in great demand.
2 weeks ago, we did a non-working vacation. It was my first non-working trip since 1995.
And did you start having withdrawals? Did you start shaking and quivering and going?
We went and found a little campsite along the Big Sur River in a grove of redwood trees, and we just sat and looked at the river and watched the diving ducks.
There you go.
And it was better than TV. It was better than Netflix.
Yeah, good for you, man. I like to see that at this point in your life, I mean, listen, you've been as successful gets, I think, and you still are. But I'm glad to see that you're slowing down, even ever so minutely enough to be able to smell a rose or two along the way.
Well, I'm trying to learn to do that, and I'm at the stage of my life where big fun for me is to go out and sit in the a swing on the back porch and watch the light change in the evening.
There you go.
See, that's big fun for me.
Yeah, we used to think that watching cement dryer or watching the grass grow was a bad, boring thing. It's now become.
I can remember my grandfather say, "So what'd you do this afternoon?" He says, "Well, I was out there and there was a squirrel out there on the bird feeder, and he was, I go, great, But dude, I'm there now.
Now you get it.
I'm there. I'm with the squirrels.
Totally. Well, buddy, it's so great to hear your voice, but we hear your voice all the time anyway. It's great to see your face.
Well, you got to sometime come up to Ojai and hang out.
I would love to do that. Yeah. Thanks for joining us.
And I got ipDTL, so you could work when you needed to.
I could do my stuff from anywhere. Hey,
that's right.
So I did an interview this morning with Shotgun Tom Kelly. You better believe it, baby.
You better believe it, baby.
And he was speaking warmly of you and your days at, where was it, KCBQ in San Diego?
KCBQ in San Diego.
Was that like 1973 or something? And
Yeah.
you guys were a couple of pups.
KCBQ was the most high energy top 40 station around. It was really quite revolutionary programming wise in the early 70s. But I will never forget one point where Tom broke the format egregiously, but it was just really sweet, and he was kind of the screaming top 40 guy. Says,
Right.
KCBQ, Shotgun Tom, this afternoon, Sunday afternoon on the Q, and I tell you what, I'm going to do something I'm not supposed to do. I'm not supposed to do this at all, but I'm going to do it anyway. Today is my daddy's birthday, and I've got him on the phone here at the Q. Hey, Daddy, how you doing? Well, hello, Tom. Daddy, I just wanted to say that, that I love you. Oh, Tom, I love you too. And I wanted to play your favorite song, and it's next on the Q. KCBQ. And then he played El Paso by Marty Robbins.
No.
Which is not on the playlist.
It's not on your playlist, right? Obviously.
And the program director, Jack McCoy, called him up on the hotline afterwards and said, Tom, that was beautiful. Don't you ever do that again.
Probably the one and only time that he was hotlined. Yeah. Oh, that's great. Well, yeah, he was speaking warmly of you this morning, and man, he is still going
amazing
strong.
Character.
He certainly is, and he's still going strong on Sirius XM 60s on 6.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you better believe it, baby. All right, well, Beau Weaver, legendary, I can say legendary disc jockey from so many legendary stations in the country.
Tommy, you remember that, and it's fun to talk about, but most of the time, I don't even remember that was me.
That was
It is so long ago
that was part of your life.
Such a different lifetime.
Right, yeah.
And it's fun to remember, so thank you for recalling that.
Yeah. Well, that was you, man. And now, of course, legendary voice actor and announcer on so many great things.
You know what legendary means? Legendary is just means old.
Well, we know that, but we still use the word anyway because we don't want
don't call me a voiceover expert.
Okay.
Because do you know what an expert is?
Tell me.
An X is a has-been,
Yeah.
and a spurt is a drip under pressure. So we try to avoid that. Townsend Coleman, ipDTL expert, everybody.
No, not an expert. Not an expert. Hey, tell me.
Very much, everybody.
Hey, tell me really quick, Beau. I'm sorry, because we were just about to sign off, but it just occurred to me. Did you say that you're on your mobile rig?
Right now, yes.
So can you tell us just a little bit about what that is? Are you using the Centrance mixer face by any chance?
No.
Oh, you're not? Okay.
Here's
I see what you
using.
got. Let's see what you got.
Let me see if I can move the,
So is that I can't quite see it. Is that a Rode mic?
It's a Rode windscreen.
Okay,
but this is actually the predecessor of the 416. It's the 415.
The 415, and it's silver, and it's about 1.5 miles long.
No, it's 1.5 miles long because it has a converter, because it is a 12-volt phantom power rather than 48 volts. So this is a converter.
Okay, got it. So, guys, you got to understand, one of the things that I love about Beau, and I've always loved about Beau, is he is so out on the bleeding edge of what's technology that's coming, but technology that's been around for years. He knows his stuff, and he puts together some of the most amazing, like little rigs and stuff like that.
Well,
of course,
let me just show you this. The 415 has a little bit more of a mid-range goose to it, and which I like on the road. It just sounds more like my big preamp at home. So what this is a little
Audient
metal. It's the Audient ID4,
right?
The smaller one,
right?
And a gooseneck attached to a little metal stand, so it's all one thing.
Okay.
So I don't have several pieces of equipment dangling around. I just grab this one thing. Right. So the mic stand is also the interface.
Right. Okay.
And I also have it on this little metal stand, because you see right here there's a connector.
Right. Yeah.
and there's a connector for the headphones here.
Right.
And if you don't have this, the gooseneck is kind of like a lever,
Yeah.
and it will break off those connectors.
Right.
If you mishandle the unit, and I've had that happen. So this just protects those connectors from getting snapped off.
Okay. And then
And when I'm doing as much work as I'm doing, when I've got as complex a workflow while I'm traveling, I need to have everything be bulletproof, and I grab one thing, to hook up.
Yep, there you
instead
go.
of plugging this thing into this thing and putting this thing over here. I just don't have the time.
That's brilliant,
So
man.
I have a little one-piece thing.
and there it is. And what's the pigtail coming out of it? Was that just goes to?
This just goes to the USB.
Yep.
That's the USB, and this is the headphone connection,
There you
and
go.
that's it.
Ba-dum-bump. All right. Well, Beau Weaver, you've been an absolute joy as always, and I hope to see you at one of the Don LaFontaine Voiceover Lab advisory board meetings soon. And
We hardly ever get to see each other except for those things.
I
anymore,
know, isn't
you
it
know?
crazy? But yeah, God bless you, brother. Thank you so
Michelle,
much. Okay.
peace out.
We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you and good night from Hollywood.
There he
Portions pre-recorded, everyone.
is. There he is.
The part of the bellboy was played by Johnny Donut, and William Holden portrayed himself.
And there's Beau Weaver.